So padded practices are officially underway for the Chiefs, guys. They are back. Andy Reid himself said something today about a rookie that's going to have Chiefs Kingdom buzzing all night long. You don't want to miss that. We also watched Patrick Mahomes torch one of our own defensive backs on a double move. Surprise, surprise, you'll find out who that was. The defense intercepted Mahomes twice today. We'll talk about that. Plus, we have a right tackle battle that might be tilting in a direction that some maybe already seen coming. So I combed through every rep, every quote, and every report out of St. Joe today, so you don't have to. Here's everything from today's practice at Chiefs training camp. So let's start with some more good news on the Eric Bieniemy front. Andy Reid said again, Mia Bieniemy continues to improve, and while there's still no timetable for Eric's return, that is exactly what you would expect right now, and it's genuinely great to hear she's doing better. On the injury side of things today, there is a bit more to track. Wide receiver Xavier Worthy is dealing with a shoulder sprain and is considered to be day-to-day at this point. Andy Reid said it will be a day or two before he's back. Cyrus Allen is also banged up, that bone bruise on the shin, and the team's going to give him a few days to let the swelling go down. So that's positive. Moving on, defensive end Ashton Gelati remains out with a hamstring issue, so that's something to keep watching as we move forward here in the next few days. So none of these really look like long-term concerns based on what Andy Reid shared today, but with Worthy, Allen, and Gelati all banged up, the training staff already has their hands full right now. But now let's get into the part of today that Chiefs Kingdom is going to be fired up about. Let's get right into it because Andy Reid was raving about a rookie today, and it's a name that has been quietly building buzz for a couple of weeks now. I'm talking about Peter Woods. El Peter. Wait, how do you say that in Spanish? El Borque. Pete Borque. I don't know. Talking about Peter Woods, Andy Reid said, I've liked what I've seen so far. He's an explosive kid. He's smart, and he's learning some of the techniques that we're teaching him.
I like what I've seen. He's an explosive kid. He's learning. He's smart, and he's learning, trying to hone in some of these techniques we're asking him to do. Like his effort. So he's got ways to go, but you sure like the tools and the effort and how smart he is. I appreciate that.
I like the tools. And so look, that's Andy Reid saying that. That's not a beat reporter. That's not a fan account. That's not anything else, choosing to single out a specific rookie on day one of Chiefs padded practice, trying to hype him up. And honestly, that lines up exactly with what we heard out of camp today. He was cooking everyone one-on-one, and Andy Reid was watching it happen. I'm super excited about what he's bringing to this defensive line. We need some pass rush juice, and I was excited for Peter Woods, and I'm still excited after day one of hitting somebody.
You know, it's been almost a year since I've been able to put some pads on and hit somebody, so that first contact is going to be like a kid in a candy store.
When your own head coach is using those words, explosive, that's pretty big. That's the kind of thing Chiefs Kingdom needs to file away for later in the season because it looks like Peter Woods could really contribute here. And yeah, Woods was not the only one getting praised up front today. Kingsley Suamataia is actually drawing some serious buzz here early in camp. Mitch Holtis and Matt McMullen said on their own show that he is playing at an almost all-pro level right now. That is a big jump for a guy who was solid but pretty unspectacular last year. And if that holds up once the pads really start colliding here over the next few days, that interior offensive line just got a whole lot scarier. That could be the best interior three out of the entire AFC. Now, let's talk about this receiver room for just a second. The man of the hour who got the start today because he didn't do too poorly, to be honest. With Xavier Worthy banged up, Andrew Armstrong started at wide receiver 3 today. And yeah, Andrew Armstrong is not a name anybody expected to hear in that row heading into the first day of padded practice. But yeah, it is an actual reminder of just how thin that wide receiver room really is right now. But yeah, he did okay. And the good news is, buried in all of this, is Armstrong is starting to build something with Patrick Mahomes. What that means, I don't know. We were talking about him being maybe wide receiver 6, having a shot at that. Maybe beating out Nico. Maybe if Andy wants to take 7, he goes wide receiver 7. I'm not saying the kid's a lock, and I'm not saying anything other than he had a decent day today. And I think that's a positive sign of just how Chad O'Shea is being able to coach up every single guy in this wide receiver room. Hey, it's a next man up mentality, and the Chiefs are in a real pickle right now with that wide receiver room. At least Andrew Armstrong, a young kid who's never even played in this league, he can step in and he can contribute versus our defense. That's a pretty big sign. I'll take it. And sticking with the offense, let's talk about the offensive line. The right tackle battle is starting to take shape. Khalil Benson's actually getting the first crack at reps, with Jalen Moore working in behind him today. Reid was asked about the two of them, and he had this to say. He said both of them can play. We've just got a young guy that we haven't really seen yet, and he has some talent. We'll need all of them. That's how it goes. That young guy he's talking about is Khalil Benson, and it sounds like Reid genuinely does not exactly know what he has there yet, which honestly might be the most exciting thing to hear about that entire competition. His own guard, Trey Smith, is already pulling for him too. He said of Benson, you have to keep coming out here and pushing, man. You're fighting through something every single day, but you go to sleep and know you're coming back out here. That's a veteran investing into a rookie, and it says a lot about how this position battle is being handled inside the building and from what we can see. So let's flip over to the defense now, because this might have been the best day this secondary has had in camp so far. Xavier Wampa picked off a pass in the end zone during 11-on-11s. He continues to flash the way he has for a couple weeks now. Chris Roland Wallace has been getting the start at nickel, and he had himself a day too. He intercepted Mahomes during 11-on-11s, ending a hurry-up drill on a quick pass intended for Tyquan Thornton. And that's a very positive thing to see from Chris Roland Wallace. He ended last year a little bit banged up, but look, he's back, and I think that's his spot for the taking. I'd like to see him step up along with Kader Kohu and Jaden Kennedy. We've got to fix that this year and get off the field on third down. So yeah, there was a couple knockdown passes, there was a couple picks, but Mahomes did have some answers. In practice later, he found Travis Kelce on a double move that cooked Chamari Connor, turned him completely around, put him on roller skates. Chamari is horrible. That kind of connection, though, has made this offense hard to stop for years. And you give Connor a break? No, not really. He has trouble stopping anybody. But yeah, Mahomes, Kelce, they still have that chemistry here early. I hope it continues to be amazing this year. Tonight's episode, let's jump right in and do some entries. We're going to go a little off the beaten path and go to NFL kickers. We're going to start out with the Chiefs' own Harrison Butker, 2026 regular season field goals, 28.5 field goals made. We're going to go more. This is a bounce back year for Harrison Butker. Right next to him, we're going to go Dicker the kicker, 31.5 field goals made. We're going to go more on that one as well. Let's come down here and go to Jason Myers, Seattle Seahawks, trying to repeat as Super Bowl champs. Not going to happen because the Chiefs are still in the NFL. 30.5 season field goals made. I'm going to go ahead and say more on that too. And we're going to go ahead and lock this in. Right now, you can go down to the description, find the link, use code HMA, and the new offer right now Prize Picks is running is play $5, get $150 if you win your first lineup. And now, back to the show. A few more names worth mentioning up front today. Jake Brenningstool came down with a leaping grab over the middle during 11-on-11 drills. Despite pretty tight coverage, Patrick Mahomes put it on the money there, so it was nice. This was the second straight practice in a row that he's made a good play. Josh Simmons was also one of the two standouts in those one-on-one drills, along with Peter Woods. It's a great early sign here for our left tackle to be showing this much promise just 2 years into his career. So between a defensive rookie tackle that Andy can't stop praising and a receiver room that's already showing some real cracks right now, a secondary that's starting to look like a genuine strength. Look, there's a lot to unpack from this practice today, even with the injuries we covered a minute ago. So let's go ahead and wrap up with a few more notes before we get out of here. Andy Reid was asked about the offense continuing to work under center, and he made it pretty clear this is not just a wrinkle. It's going to be part of the plan going forward. He said, we've always mixed it up. I think it's a healthy thing, so there's no reason why other than we've got some good stuff out of that, and we want to use it. That's a big word salad for Andy Reid per usual, but I'm going to go ahead and trust that he's going to run the ball under center. And considering Mahomes himself has talked about wanting to get the ball out quicker this season, that emphasis feels intentional, not just a camp experiment. So that's a positive sign. And one more note on the defensive side of the ball, Mansour Delane's still working to get back. Andy Reid was asked about that too, and he said he's a tough nut. A lot of guys probably wouldn't go out there and play with what he's got. He wants to be out there. He wants to learn. We got to keep him out of contact. So look, Delane, congrats. You're a tough nut.
What did he say?
But yeah, it's a good early sign about the kind of competitor the Chiefs actually got to draft there. Even if he's not all the way back just yet, he is going to get there. So that's everything from today's practice. A rookie defensive tackle earning some real praise from his head coach, causing Chiefs Kingdom to get horned up. A receiver room already showing some cracks, and a secondary that might be the most improved unit on this entire roster. There's a lot there. But if this kept you caught up and saved you the scroll today, hit that like button and sub button for me so you never have to miss a single camp update like this again. Let's go Chiefs.